of Arts and Design. We are going to record this and make sure that it's available on Dragon Network. So in case you want to refer back to it or anything like that, you can always do so. So on behalf of Denise Snow, who is our founder of the Bridge program at Westphal and also the Director of Student Diversity and Programs and Partnerships, as well as Francis Aguas, who is Associate Dean of Inclusion, Diversity, Equity, and Anti-Racism. I just want to thank you all for taking time and being part of our first ever Bridge Scholars Mentorship Program. We're very excited to have you all here. For those of you who don't know, Bridge started about 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago, and was modeled after the LeBeau program, which began in 2012. And its goal is to provide academic and social support for students from historically underserved populations. And that includes students from first-generation college households, as well as low-income households. Bridge is an organization, but it's definitely more than that. It's a community in the truest sense of the word. I have the pleasure of having an office right across from the Bridge break room, so I get to see the students here and there on a daily basis, and you know, the community that they've created and the support that they provide each other is really, really wonderful to see and really, really inspiring as well. But there are some statistics behind what we're doing too, and I want to share those with you just so you get a little bit of a better overview to show how Bridge is actually working for our students. So over 64% of Bridge scholars improve their GPA from one academic year to another. And over half of Bridge scholars will make the Dean's List at least once in their time with us at Drexel. So that's really wonderful. And the other thing too that we found is that membership in Bridge enables the students to increase their retention. So that means that they're staying with us rather than transferring to a different university or different program. So we're really grateful for that. Like I said, we are so happy to have you with us and to have you paired with some of our students here. And I'll kick it off to Cassandra, who will give you a little bit more background on how to use Dragon Network and hopefully answer some questions that you have.
Thank you, Kate, and thanks for those statistics. Those are awesome. Any Bridge scholars on this call, shout out to you. You guys are building something amazing, and it's amazing. It's like the first cohort graduating, right, Kate, this summer? So
yeah, this June, we're really proud to have the first full cohort of Bridge scholars graduate for those who are in 4-year programs. We do have some 5-year programs at Westphal, so it skews the numbers a little bit, but this year, those Bridge scholars who are graduating started with us when they were freshmen. So we're really happy to send them off into the world.
Yes, and this is the first time we're doing an alumni mentorship program. So yeah, Denise Snow, the creator of Bridge, this is something that she was very passionate about, was providing mentorship, alumni mentorship to current scholars. We know, like, anecdotally how important mentorship is, and I think that with the way Bridge functions, it makes so much sense to kind of like mash this together, put on a program, and give students that like additional layer of support that will really help build their connections beyond Drexel and like set them up for success in the workforce. So we are extremely excited for it. I'm just going to share a few slides about just like what mentorship is, what expectations are, and then kind of the nitty-gritty like requirements, and then how to function and use Dragon Network, because I know that can be a bit confusing. So I'm going to screen share and show you guys all of that. But okay, so what is mentorship? So we define mentorship as a long-term relationship, in this case, 6 months, hopefully more if you continue to keep in contact, focus on supporting the growth and development of a mentee. So mentorship is not just one thing. It can look a lot of different ways. There's a lot of different styles, and it really just depends on what works for you and the mentee that you are paired with. So maybe this looks like you just being a sounding board. They want to share things and you just kind of bounce off, give ideas. You could be a motivator, someone that holds them accountable. If they have specific goals they really want to work on, you can be that monthly check-in that says like, hey, What's your progress been? Have you started that job search? Have you updated the resume that you really wanted to do? Have you reached out to people in the community? I know that was one of your goals. You can be a role model. I think just sharing your experience. You guys are all Westphal alums. So to some degree, you've been through the same things that they're going through. And I think it's amazing for them to have someone who has been in their same position share like, hey, I did it. I do have the full-time job. I am working in the field I wanted, or maybe I'm not working there and it's actually totally okay. I'm in something different. And that was actually a great transition for me. Just someone that's a listener, a connector. We really hope that you guys will help leverage the connections you have and share them with your mentees if you are able. There is like this gap of social capital, and the more that we can help equip students with getting this professional network established, we know the more successful our students and scholars are going to be. We know that for mentees, we always think about it as in like, okay, mentorship is great for mentees. Like they get something and mentors, thank you so much for volunteering your time. But I hope that by the end, you will realize the benefits that there are for mentors as well as that engage in this. So for mentors, this can help you build your own leadership skills. I think like those coaching, just being there for someone, encouraging, motivating, guiding someone is so important. Developing your own communication and listening skills. I think there's a lot of joy in getting to like reflect, share your knowledge, share your experience, think back to like, what was it like when you were a student? What challenges were you going through? How did you actually make that transition from being a student to suddenly being a graduate, and actually sharing that? Personal fulfillment. And then, getting more familiar with the new generation. Like these are going to be people that are going to be working with you. They're going to be working alongside you on your team. You might be hiring them. And I think the more we can understand like what our current students, what this age group is looking for, what they need, what they want, where they're at, the more empathetic we can be and, work together towards building a better workforce. And for the mentee, you already know, I hope this will really help you develop any skills that you're looking on, whether that's just getting more confident with building a network or communicating with alumni. This might be your first time ever really being in a mentorship. And I think it's really helpful to have a space that's like open and safe for you to just kind of explore, like, how does this work? How does it work to have a professional person that I'm networking? What questions can I ask? What things are appropriate to even like ask for in this relationship? How can we stay consistent? Learning how to accept and grow from mental feedback. Again, having that safe space for someone to give you constructive criticism on feedback, even if on something like really practical, like your resume, or even like, you hop onto the call and immediately you're like, okay, can you get me a job? And they're like, hey, maybe that's not the best way to approach a conversation with an alum. I think all of that feedback is really important. Expanding your professional network, again, to people, like our social circles end up getting pretty big. And I hope that you'll get more valuable connections than just the one that you're paired with. And then getting that firsthand knowledge of an industry, department, or role. We matched you based on what you guys put in your registration. So I'll get into this a little bit more, but industry and major, it doesn't all align completely for every match, but there usually is a bit of overlap. So I hope that will be really helpful. And then just gaining an advocate, someone who's like out there in the real world that will be able to like encourage you, motivate you on achieving your goals, exploring the career options that you have after you graduate. Okay, here are a few guidelines for success. And I know Kate and I have talked, like we want this to be really flexible. There is like, again, no certain one way to do this. We are not like tracking every single thing you do. We can, and we have an option if you want us to, but there's no expectation that that's how it's going to work. But if you want to have a successful mentorship, and like, I think we really define success as in like, you guys are just in contact for these next 6 months. You guys like fulfill the full length of the program, and however that like really works for you is fine. But I think having those guidelines on both sides, and that like the scholar, you guys are saying like what you want. This is the communication mode that works best for you, and mentors are on the same page. So definitely within like those first meetings, figure out what sort of communication mode you want to do. If you guys are both in Philly, you are more than welcome to meet up in person. Otherwise, we have video calls, voice calls, messages that can all be done through the Dragon Network system that I'll show you. But you're also more than welcome to exchange personal information if you feel comfortable, or whatever is easiest for you to track and keep up with. Making frequent contact, definitely within these first few weeks, we want you to connect soon. And I'll get into how to do that. But within this first few weeks, having that communication, putting something on the schedule so that, 2 months have gone by and it was like only like a hey and nothing has happened. Following up when you make a commitment. I think as a mentor, sometimes we want to I don't know, I'm kind of an overcommitter. I feel like when I've been, I'm like, oh yes, for sure I can do that. For sure you can do that. But being realistic about what you can and what you can't do and following through on that, I think that's so important that we're being honest with ourselves and being consistent for our matches on both ends. Be appreciative, everyone gets pretty busy. Being vulnerable is difficult, especially in a new relationship where it's like really random to a certain degree. And I think just being appreciative of, both parties taking the time to invest in this relationship. Confidentiality. Mentors, we are not expecting you to be mental health counselors. If anything, just feels like out of your scope to any degree. Or mentees, if you have any concerns about the match, anything at all, just please ask us. Reach out to Kate, reach out to me. Students, reach out to Francis. We are all here to support you, and we want to make this match as mutually beneficial as possible. And so if you have any questions or things, just any concerns at all, please reach out. We are here. We want to hear your feedback, especially with this first time. You guys have so much valuable insight to lend to us. And then just be professional. This is a Drexel thing. We want there to still be an air of professionalism. It's not necessarily a peer-to-peer thing. So just being careful in how you talk to each other. Again, just using your own best judgment on what is appropriate and what is not. Oh, got another person. Okay. All right, so timelines and expectations. So what was that? 3 days ago was match day, Wednesday. You guys in the morning received that email. We had a few technical challenges, but they should be officially worked out. And I've already seen that you guys have began messaging your mentees. Mentees, please log in there. You can message your mentor first as well. Our goal is that you guys will connect both ways by May 1st. We do have some mentors that weren't able to make it, or more mentors than mentees that applied. So if mentors, for whatever reason, this commitment is not strong enough, or if mentees, you're not hearing back at all from your mentor, please let us know. And I'm going to be doing a lot of personal follow-up in this next week to make sure that everybody's committed or has connected and knows how to connect with their mentee or mentor. Just in case you're curious on how you're matched. So students had the opportunity to go in there, look through all the mentors' profiles, and also just click on who they thought would be a great mentor match for them. So they were able to favor up to 3 people. So maybe if your mentee has nothing to do, maybe they just saw something on your profile that they liked, maybe something you guys have in common, maybe a company that you worked at that might be outside of that. Otherwise, you were matched really according to those majors that you felt comfortable helping students with, your current majors, same thing with industries, and then the skills that you were hoping to grow. Expectation is, now. So between now, October, meet once a month. We say at least 30 minutes. I think that's a pretty solid chunk of time to do a real check-in with each other and touch base. Again, it's really flexible. It's up to you. These guidelines are just to kind of help you get a framework, especially if you've never been a mentee or mentor before. This is what we're hoping. Definitely meet more than that, meet longer than that, meet, whenever makes sense for both of you and you guys are on the same page about that. And then the last expectation is we do have an intro survey and an end survey. This intro survey should automatically hit your inbox at 12:30. So it's going to be sent to your email, whatever email you signed up with Dragon Network through. And this is to just give us an idea of where you're at, and it will help kind of guide some of the resources that we can give you throughout the program. If you know that this is really what you want to do, maybe there's some more activities or things that we could incorporate to help support you guys in completing both of those goals. Okay. I'm going to breeze through the screen share. So what's Dragon Network? Okay, maybe you'd be like, why am I using Dragon Network? I have no idea why it's being hosted on here. Like, you signed up, you don't know what you're doing. Dragon Network is our online professional community for students and alumni, sort of like Drexel's own LinkedIn. We have 10,000 users on there. We have a job board. There's a lot of features on there, but one of the things that we can do through Dragon Network is create mentorship programs. So this is really an administrative hub. It's an online home base where all of the resources are kept. All the communication can happen, scheduling, goals, everything is all on Dragon Network. Again, you don't have to keep it there, but I think it's really helpful for us to have this online home base that we know where to go back to. We know how to reconnect with someone if we want. And then it's also helpful for me as an admin, like I can see if you guys have made a two-way connection. So especially this first meeting, these first interactions, keeping that on Dragon Network, just so I can see like, okay, they both messaged each other back and forth. That's good. I know they've connected. But I'm going to screen share and show you guys how to actually use Dragon Network and what other resources we have here. So if you just log into Dragon Network, you'll be taken to your home screen. To find the Westphal program, you're going to hover over Connect and click on Programs. Here, you'll see the Westphal Bridge Scholars. So that's the one that you guys are a part of. So you should easily be able to find it there. And then we have your home, the home page. You guys are probably familiar or have seen this About section when you registered for the program. And then we have resources. So again, we are hoping that you guys will meet 6 times at least throughout the next 6 months. And we have created sort of like resources, a design for like how you want to do that meeting. Maybe again, if you want to freestyle, you already know what works for you, amazing. But if you want to be more intentional and if you want a structured way to sort of like format your meetings with your mentees or mentees, maybe you're like, I don't really know what I want out of this. And someone just asking me how my month has been makes me really anxious because I won't know what to say. Like, this can be a great place to come back to and be like, hey, let's work on this today. So I'll show you guys. So if you go here, you'll see meeting 1. And it will show you, okay, these are questions, icebreakers. The goal is just that you guys will introduce each other and learn a little bit about each other and that you will set a goal. So throughout the program, what are your goals? What specific things are you hoping to get out of this? Maybe you want to connect with 2 other alumni within the next 6 months. Maybe you want to have a complete resume, mock interview, up-to-date LinkedIn profile by the end of this. Maybe you want to just expand your networking, attend events, whatever that is. Session 1 can just be about introducing yourself, setting goals. We have session 2, which helps mentees kind of understand their strengths. What are they most good at? And this is an activity you guys can do together. Session 3 is all about figuring out what you want to do after you graduate, what those different plans could look like. And these are some videos and a worksheet that you can go through together that will help you create different 5-year plans for after you graduate. Session 4 is all about how do you turn your passions into careers, thinking about what job titles you might actually want to pursue after graduation, what companies you might want to look for, what kind of roles, what excites you in a position, and mentors you helping your mentees think through this. Session 5, figuring out how to talk about yourself, an elevator pitch, creating an elevator pitch together with your mentee and practicing that. And then just the last one, reflecting and doing some intentional reflection on how the program has went and how you guys choose or don't choose to like keep up with each other.
And I just want to jump in real quick, Cassandra, and kind of reiterate what you said for those who had just joined us, that these are guidelines. So we're not going to be collecting these worksheets. We're not going to be, keeping tabs on whether you've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You certainly don't need to do these even in the order that they are labeled. So if you want to start with number 5, like that is really interesting to your pair and your mentee really wants to learn how to talk about themselves, by all means, please do that. These are, again, just resources that are available to you in case you get a little stuck, in case you're not sure, how to structure the conversation, or maybe the conversation stalls a little bit and you need some ideas. this is where you can go to get those ideas.
Yep, 100%. Just additional resources. If you want to use them, take a look. You have access to all of these. And then if you want to keep track, again, this is totally optional, but when you're in your inbox, ooh, I should have like demoed to someone. Give me 1 second. Let me demo as one of you guys. How many of you, maybe like by coming off mute, show of hands, anything, have already made contact with your mentee? Okay, Andrew, has anyone else already tried to send a message? Okay, so some of you have already sent a message. If you haven't, again, let me get one of your guys' profiles up, and I'm going to pretend to be you for a second. Let's see. Okay, that's going to take too long. That's okay. Basically, if you go onto Dragon Network, since you have been paired already, it will come up in your inbox. So if you're in your inbox, it will show a message already. Let's see. Natalie, it'll show that we're already been paired. And then on this right side, there will be goals. You can either make your own goals for each other, or again, I already have those goals in there that you will introduce yourself to each other, that you will create an elevator pitch. You can cross those off if you want, but there are like ways that, again, you can add more structure to this. You can track your connections and interactions more rigidly if you want. It's totally up to you, but this is how you'll do it. You can schedule your meetings through Dragon Network just by clicking schedule meeting. If you want, you can sync your work calendar or your personal calendar to this so they can see your accurate, up-to-date availability. And then you can do the video call or phone call all right through the platform. So the idea of this is like, unless you want to, you don't have to give away all your personal information. You don't have to deal with Zoom. You can really do this all through the platform if you want to. You don't have to, you can go off of that, but this is always an option for you. It functions just like Zoom or just like a conference call if you want to do your messaging and video calls and phone calls through there. I think that is it. So just a final thing, you guys are going to have our contact information, our emails, our titles. Reach out to Kate or I, students, again, Francis or Kate or I, anyone. We like all are in connection and we'll get you an answer to your question. But that's about it. I know we only have 2 minutes left, but does anyone have questions? Anything they want to share or anything like that? Any questions? Okay. Oh, well, we covered it then. I love that. So again, at 12:30, so in 2 minutes, you'll probably get something auto sent to your email. Please fill out that survey. We would really appreciate that. You're going to get this slide deck. You're going to get this recording. And if you have anything that comes up, if you haven't touched base with your mentee, if your mentee hasn't responded, mentees, if your mentor hasn't responded, by May 1st, I'll probably be following up individually to see where we want to go from there. But please let us know. Thank you guys so much again for participating. Like we can say that enough. We're so excited for this. Kate, any last things you want to share?
No, I think we're all set. But yeah, Cassandra and I are always around in case you have any questions that come up after this. So please do reach out. We're excited to see how this program goes. So thank you so much.
Thank you guys. Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.